exhibit. Enjoy the show today.
So is this your first time at the Detroit Auto Show?
This is my first time. I've wanted to go for a number of years, but never quite made it. Last opportunity I really had to go was probably about 10, 11 years ago, and didn't end up making it. Really glad to be here today.
So what are your thoughts on this year's show?
As far as this year's show, well, I'll be honest, I've only been in here a couple of hours. I haven't really seen all of it. I had a look at a couple of my favorite manufacturers, a lot of their offerings, Honda and Ford in particular. I'm just now making it over here to Chevrolet. Been very, very impressed by the Chevy Volt this year. First chance I had to get a look at it was at one of the military family days at Selfridge Air National Guard Base, about 45 minutes from here. It was all the rage over there. I could barely get my hands on it, get a look at it. When I did see it take off, somebody was test driving it. This is back in September. Literally the only thing I could hear is basically the leaves crunching beneath the wheels as it pushed off. I couldn't hear a motor, I couldn't hear a gasoline engine, I couldn't hear a thing.
Are you thinking of maybe buying one?
Possibly into the future. Right now I'm a student at Western Michigan University. My Marine unit's looking to deploy not too long from now. After then, maybe. I'm definitely impressed to see that in electric vehicles, hybrids, there's a lot of companies who've looked at bringing this stuff to market, and Chevy were the first ones to get it done. And in a time when they haven't been doing so well, that's really good for them.
Now, do you think the price of it is pretty good? Because I understand it's around $40,000, and then you get the $7,500 rebate, so it brings it down around $32,000.
Once it gets down, I think we'll see a little better market penetration. Right now, the price does seem a little stiff, but considering the fact that it runs on electricity, depending on how much driving you're going to do, that very well could pay for itself over the course of, I don't know, 3 years. You look at a lot of these cars, they got an annual fuel cost of, I don't know, $2,500, $2,000. You drive this thing for maybe 3-4 years, and you'll make up that cost difference between, say, 37 and 32.
Would you say this is your favorite car at the show?
At the show, if it's not my favorite, it's in one of the top 3. This is my first chance to really get a hands-on look at it. A few moments ago, I just had a seat in there, having a look at the touchscreen interface. You know, definitely very impressed that I've got a chance to see it. I've read up quite a bit on it.
Were there any automakers that you maybe were not impressed with? Maybe you thought they should have had a nicer car or anything like that?
Well, like I said, I've only been at the show a couple hours. I'm not really sure. Actually, just coming from an internship working with Honda, so I pretty much knew about everything I was going to see there. Just more hands-on opportunities. As far as stuff that was a little nicer, I don't know. Everything I've seen is about where I expected it was going to be.
And what are your thoughts on this year's show?
It's a lot better than last year. Last year was pretty not a lot of cars here, so this year's a lot better. More cars, more people, so it's nice.
Yeah, I'd agree. A nice crowd. It's good.
Are you in the market to buy a vehicle, or you're just looking at them?
Just looking.
Just looking.
Yeah.
Dreaming.
Yes, that's right. What would you say are some of your favorite cars here so far that you saw?
So far what we've seen is the Ferrari 458 Italia. That's nice. Audi A6 is one of my favorites.
I like the Jaguar, what is it, XKJ?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Now, were there any automakers that maybe you weren't impressed with? You hoping they maybe had a better design?
I think everybody stepped it up this year, especially like Chrysler. Their Cherokees was really nice. Thought they did a really good job. So.
Yeah, I think it was good. BMW was all right. I was kind of expecting a little more from them, but.
You said you've been here many times before, so how do you think this year's show is different from maybe 3 years ago?
I don't know. I think there's more optimism out there. They're coming up with a lot more designs, a little bit more forward thinking, a lot more green cars. So, you know, I think a couple years ago they were talking about green, but this year you got a lot more hybrids coming out that are actually real. So I think that's the difference.
And there's a lot of like hands-on activities that you can, you know, learn about the car by doing like little games and stuff, like computer games or whatever.
Have you gone in the basement for the ride and drive? Because you could test drive the electric cars.
Not
we
yet.
haven't. We done it last year. It was really nice. We haven't gone this year yet.
Not yet.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we'll be down there.
Anything else to add about the auto show?
No, if you haven't come down, come down. It's nice.
It's great for Detroit. Gotta love it.
Is this your first time at the Detroit Auto Show?
Probably my 6th. And I think it's always fun to come up and see what they're doing with the auto industry. And we've come through such hard times. It's great to see the products that are out there, and the domestics seem to be improving by leaps and bounds. However, that being said, I'm still a fan of European cars and really like particularly the BMWs and the Mercedes.
Are you in the market to buy a car, or are you just looking?
Just looking, I bought one last October. I bought a BMW 335.
So now, what would you say is your favorite car here at the auto show?
Well, I haven't seen too many yet, but right now I guess I'd have to say, just based on what I've seen, is probably the Porsche, the convertible.
Now, this is the first time they've been here in about 3 or 4 years, so what do you think about them coming back?
Like I said before, it's a great place to come and see cars that you don't normally get to see, and that's why I like to come here, and them coming back is great. I like seeing the Bugattis and the Morgans cars that generally don't appear on lots anywhere in America.
Now, were there any automakers that you were hoping maybe they had a little bit nicer designs, or is everything pretty good?
No, I don't know if I really come here geared to that. I just come geared to what people are putting out, and what I guess I'm really interested now is the more horsepower they can stick in a car and still get good gas mileage. So some of the turbos that they come out with are pretty good at that.
Have you gone in the basement yet? You could test drive some of the electric cars.
No, I have not done that yet. Oh, I'm sure we will. I'm sure my daughter will be interested in doing that.
Most of the people we spoke to seem to be pretty pleased with this year's auto show. Remember, it runs through January 23rd. Reporting inside Cobo Center, Jason Rzucidlo for AmericaJR.com.